I can do anything that I want. I could sing, I could rap, I could float on any flow that I want. I could switch the beat up, beat the beat up, and I don't leave crumbs. Butterflies in my stomach, but I don't need tums. I heard you wanted competition, here you got it. But Dev the follower is sick of being modest. This a competition where bars matter, not being the loudest. And now that you've heard my bars, you don't gotta think this.
Hey, what's going on? My name is Aaron O'Connor. I'm with AIRsProductions doing an artist spotlight here, the very first one. And I'm with, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Dev the follower. For those who didn't know, I live in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and I love making rap music.
Hell yeah, it's good to hear. Well, thanks for joining me. We've been working together for quite a while, so this isn't like a new face-to-face or anything like that. We have quite a bit of a conversation going on regarding just professional stuff. So to get down just to the nitty-gritty here, to get to know who Dev the follower is, to start off with, how did you pick the name Dev the follower? Where does it come from? Did it just spawn as the first creation idea, or is there something else that started?
Yeah, man. So it's somewhat of an inside joke between a buddy and mine. I went to school at Southeastern University in Lakeland, Florida. I wrestled there, and a wrestling teammate of mine who I've also made music with, he goes by Young Branding. We kind of just picked around and made fun at some names, and he came up with that for me, and I came up with Young Branding for him, so it just kind of went from there. I won't go too much into detail about exactly what it means, but it's just an inside joke between him and I, and it just stuck, to be honest with you. It doesn't really mean anything special, or I didn't put too much thought into it, so to speak.
Yeah, I get that. That makes complete sense. It's actually, I don't know, it seems like a lot of people's hip-hop names specifically, they always are just kind of for the fun of it. Some people seem to have like an actual name that makes sense to what they're doing, but I mean, people like Post Malone and stuff like that, I mean, they just put their names into rap generators and pop-up names, and that's what they get. So yeah, I get that.
Yeah, man, I've considered changing it a few times here and there, but I've had it for a decade now, so I mean, it doesn't really make sense for me now. I'll stick with it.
Take it from someone who has barely any listeners. It is a nightmare, it feels like, to rebrand. And I only have a few listeners, and I was worried that I was like, oh no, is anybody going to find my music again? I'm back up to where I was, but it's just, yeah, rebranding is not a fun gig.
Yeah, that's for sure, especially if you're doing it on your own.
Yeah, exactly. And I was just curious, what age were you when you kind of decided you were going to start making music? And then with that, what age was it that got you into hip hop? Like, where did you start listening to it and be like, oh, this is something that I really dig?
Yeah, man, really good question. I'll just start from the beginning. So I was probably about 8 or 9 years old. I started writing short stories, short form poetry, stuff like that. I fooled around with my sister a little bit, making music, just on basic softwares, nothing too serious. And then I would get into it every now and then during high school. And then I really started to get into it more when I was hanging out with Young Branding, and I met him through wrestling. We actually made a few non-serious walkout songs for other wrestlers on the team just as a joke, and they actually used it. But it really just started off from there. Young Branding pushed me. He's like, man, I think you really got potential. So I really just dove into it from there. And I started taking it really seriously 2017, 2016 probably, and it's history from then. I've been really on the grind since, pedal to the metal.
Yeah, hell yeah. Young Branding, is he still making music? Do you make music with him? Is that still a collaboration that you do?
He writes occasionally with me. He hasn't really laid down any vocals in some years, but I'm trying to convince him to get the microphone, and we'll get some in the future. That's all I'll say.
As your engineer, it'd be cool to listen to that. I love listening to the new artists you bring in to my ears. So you've turned me on to a few of them, man. So yeah, I would love to hear him.
Absolutely, man.
And where does the passion come from, if that makes sense? Because I've noticed as an engineer, you put out music very continuously, and have been continuously putting out music. You have a pretty long discography for just how short of time I feel like you've been making music, which isn't short. I mean, it is a long amount of time, but you have a lot of music, and that's hard to do, just being kind of an independent artist and whatnot. I know myself, so I was just curious, like, where does that passion come from? What keeps fueling it?
Yeah, truthfully, man, it's an obsession. I'm addicted to this shit. I really enjoy writing, and even if I'm not recording, I'm writing every single day, multiple times a day. It's just something that I wake up and do. It's structured into my life. It's ingrained. It's in my DNA. The passion comes from me just wanting to be great with everything I do. and music is one of those that I really love to do. I enjoy doing it all the time. Every now and then I'll get into a slump, but it's not very often. I wake up and I think about it. It's all I think about for the most part. It's just in my DNA. I love to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard if you're trying to really make it out there, it's kind of something you have to be crazy about. From what I've been hearing from a lot of the artists that are up there in the big leagues, they say it's kind of like if you're not crazy about it and want to die for it, then it's not. And that's just music in general. It's not just hip hop. It's kind of like if you want to make this your thing, you got to be the crazy one in the room. You got to kind of just be insane about it and make it all you. And so I dig that. And I think it's paying off for you from what I've been seeing within just your writing ability. And for the time I've known you, your writing ability, your flows, your cadence, all of it. It's really good. So, and it's progressing more and more each time we make a song. So,
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. It means a lot. I really try to hone in on the craft. I try to improve and experiment with a bunch of different styles, flows, sounds, you name it. But yeah, I mean, it goes with anything, even outside of music. For example, if you want to be an MMA fighter, you kind of got to be crazy. You got to be psycho to an extent, and really just put yourself through it in order to be great.
yeah, I get that. So, what's your visions for you moving forward here from where you currently are? I mean, you have visions when you start off, and then you make it kind of to those visions just a bit. I mean, you have smaller goals and you have larger goals, and I'm sure you've made it to some of your smaller goals. But what's some of those larger goals, or even your next small goal that you want to hit coming up with your music?
Absolutely, great question. I'm not sure I have a specific vision in mind. Really, the main goal for me, always moving forward, is to just continue to grow and improve. Um, I firmly believe that I make music that I want to hear. I make music for myself, and I'm always going to put out something that I enjoy. And through time, the right audience is going to find me. I always say it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So I'm just going to keep pushing, move forward, step by step, day by day, brick by brick, and whatever happens, happens.
Yes, sir. I completely agree. I mean, if you're doing it for what you enjoy, at the end of the day, there's not much else that you could be doing. The money obviously is a byproduct, and it's always a welcome thing, especially in the days we live in, where money is a fuel of the legitimate world. But it's enjoyable when you can keep at it, even though those numbers might not be there, and because the people that you do have listening approve and appreciate what you're putting out. And I think that's personally enough. I mean, I only have 6 monthly listeners myself, and every single one of those feels like a million because I'm like, this person, I would hope, is listening, not because they just want to support me, because they also dig what I'm putting out. And I'm the same way. I put out music just for myself in a sense. As far as what I mean is when I make the music, I'm always making it to how I want to make it and what I want to listen to because I'm my biggest fan at the end of the day. If I don't want to listen to my music, why am I making it, you know?
That's exactly right, man. And in today's day and age, especially when social media is so oversaturated, a lot of people get caught up, understandably, and it's in just the number game. Um, TikTok specifically, I mean, there's something that's floating around called the 200, 300, 400, 500 view jail or whatever that means, however you want to perceive that. People post videos all the time. It's only getting a certain amount of views. People get discouraged by it because they expect a certain amount of videos to do really well. But for example, I woke up this morning and I saw that I have 2,300 monthly listeners on Spotify, which is insane.
Congrats.
It may Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. And it may not seem a lot to the majority of people, but if you put it this way, and I've seen a lot of people talk about this on TikTok, but if you put it this way, if you're in a room with 2,300 people, they're all listening to your music and continuing to listen to your music, that's an insane feeling. So why wouldn't you feel the same way and view it the same way as if you see that you have 2,300 monthly listeners on Spotify?
Yeah, it's a big concert too. If you think about it, I mean, that's a big room to fill, 2,300 people. I've been to a few hundred people shows, and those feel electrifying and large when you're in the right venue. And so I can only imagine what 2,300 people feels like in the right venue. And when you put it in that way, yeah, I mean, it's a blessing to be able to even just have that many, in my opinion. To me, when I see those, I look at you and I'm like, in my mind, because I look at listeners so, I don't look at you having a million listeners as being famous. To me, I'm like, I mean, you're popular and famous already. And that goes for anybody who's reaching good numbers like that. And so I think it's pretty cool, and good job on you for, you know, keeping at it and getting that snowball effect. I've numbers always dip and whatnot, but you do keep a pretty consistent average, and I dig that. That means that you got a loyal fan base. At least if it's not real people, at least you have loyal bots, and that keep for some odd reason streaming. But regardless, it seems pretty loyal, and you got a movement going, and I think it's going to progress really well for you.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. And with that, it's super important to remain consistent and keep people fed too. While I make music for myself, it's also extremely gratifying that people return to the music, listen to it. Even one listener is a difference. It makes a difference. It causes an impact, and I'm doing something for somebody. And ultimately, that's what it comes down to.
Exactly, yeah. Helping, I firmly believe, and Logic has a song on one of his recent albums he had put out. It's more of his um, like conscious albums, you could say, where he put a snippet in talking about how, as a human being, we have the obligation, if you have the abilities, to help other human beings. If you're rich, you help. If you are a doctor, you should help. If you're smart, you should help. Like, you shouldn't just hold all those things to yourself. You should be a teacher, or in a sense of like you should help people when they need it and not just shun them away. And I dig that with the music, as far as, there's messages to be told, and we don't all got time to go to these meetings or big councils or anything like that to like sit down and always come together. Just with the way our world is in society, everything's very on the move, and nobody has a lot of time all the time. And so I think music is one of the best ways to get your point across, because you're not forcing anybody to listen to it. They listen to it on their own, and if they listen to it on your own, you get to say your message, and it's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely, man. Couldn't agree more. And that point actually reminded me of a Kendrick song. I believe it's called How Much Is a Dollar Cost? It's something along those lines. I can't remember the exact title, but he touches base on that beautifully in the form of storytelling with that song. You should definitely check it out if you haven't heard it. But it's not necessarily talking about what's the worth of a dollar. He goes into his experience um, with, if a homeless person comes up to you and asks for just a dollar or something like that, um, you should be willing to help. And if you, I can't remember exactly what the song is about, but it touches base on that, and it's a really good story. And I'll definitely be listening after this because you reminded me of it. I haven't heard it in a while.
You should
But
send it to me. I would love
yeah,
to listen to it.
I certainly will. It's a beautiful story.
And I'm curious as well, is there any, have you ever thought about a sound change? Not necessarily a sound change, but you know how artists evolve their sound, more of an evolution. Are those down the road for you at all? Have you ever thought about those ever coming up? I know as an artist myself, I'm always thinking about it consistently. I'm like, do I need to like change up my vocals here or something? Do I need to be a little different? Or
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always open to experimenting and changing sounds and doing whatever I feel like I want to do in the studio at whatever point at any given time. I don't really hold myself to a specific sound. If I want to make something, I make an attempt at it. That's really all it is.
yeah, I like that. What's your situation on, or opinion on, am I getting signed or am I staying independent? What are we thinking here?
I personally enjoy being independent right now. I'm not going to close the door on anything if it presents himself, but I'm always going to look at everything with a grain of salt. I'll look at the facts. If it benefits me just as great as any offer would, I would consider it. But as of right now, I really do enjoy being independent. I like the authenticity and the feeling of being able to build something from the ground up and do it myself.
If you were to be given an opportunity to sign to a label, are we looking hard at it as far as the contracts and stuff, or are we just signing away at the first chance we get?
No, I'm looking hard at it. Yeah, I'm definitely pulling out a magnifying glass. I'm going to hire a couple of attorneys to look over it and really just lay out the facts before I make any type of decision. And if I do want to make a decision, it won't be right away.
Yeah, I like that. And some of the artists you listen to, is name like a top three artists of yours that you listen to that either influence you and or you just really vibe with.
Yeah, I'll probably give a little more than three just
Yeah.
because I listen to a ton of music. But as of recently, specifically, um, Clips, Pusha T, JID, Kendrick Lamar, Nas is a big time favorite. I always listen to Eminem a few times a year. 50 Cent, Wu Tang Clan, Biggie, Pac. Outkast. I
All the
mean,
legends.
the list goes on, man. I'm such a student of the game. I love music. I love hip hop. Um, it's just such a big part of my life. So
Do you remember the first song you heard that like that's in your core memory? Like for me myself, the first hip hop song that always comes to my mind is "Cleaning Out Your Closet" from Eminem. My older brother used to jam to that all the time. My mom would always be like, "No, you can't listen to that." So I was intrigued because I was like, "Why can't I listen to it?" So I'd listen to it and be like, "What the heck's happening?" And I never really got into hip hop until really I was into like 18, 19, 20. That's when I met my buddy Ivan, and he got me into listening just to hip hop because he listened to it. But yeah, I'm curious. What is there a song that you remember specifically that you always come back to that you're like, this is one of those first jams?
I'm not sure if I could pinpoint the first hip hop song that captured me, but I do have a specific memory of a song that shocked me and it made me fall in love with hip hop, and that's New York State of Mind by Nas.
Mm.
I grew up in Northeast Pennsylvania, which is pretty close to New York, and Nas was somewhat popular for the most part, all considering his size and impact. But when I heard that song, I was shocked. The storytelling, the flow, the wordplay, and the sheer poetry that he had throughout that song. I mean, it captured me immediately. I was shocked when I heard it, and I'm like, yeah, this I need to dig into this.
And would you say the people you listen to that you just mentioned off are the ones that influence your style and your flows and just kind of your whole vision when you're on the track, when you're writing, when you're listening to beats and stuff? Are they the ones that kind of are your guiding lights in a sense?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I mostly listen to Nas, Clips, Pusha T, JID. Mac Miller is a really big influence too when
Mm.
I'm doing some of my softer stuff. But yeah, Eminem as well, 50 Cent. But yeah, I mean, all of those artists, huge influences. I study mostly everybody. Um, if I'm looking to have a more old school boom bap flow, I'll return to like Wu Tang Clan, Method Man specifically. I love Rakim, Outkast.
Heck yeah, I like that. I've got only a few more questions for you here because we are nearing past the 15-minute mark that we were looking at here. But I was curious as far as your haters go, as everybody has haters. Do you got any messages for them? Who knows if they'd be listening or not, but if you do, you got any messages for them?
I mean, I don't know if I have any specific messages. I mean, when you put stuff out and you're vulnerable with things that you create, that's always going to come, and that's usually the first thing that comes before support. And naturally, as a human, people gravitate towards negativity. So that the haters and what they say might shine more to most people, um, but really, you just can't feed into it. And if you do, kill them with kindness or be comedic about it. You can't really let it get to you. You can't anger you. But if I had one thing to say, no matter what they say or have to say about me and what I create, I'm still going to put stuff out. I mean, they can
Yes,
say
sir.
whatever they want. It's not really going to affect my production.
Yes, sir. And then with that, is there any final words you would give to any uprising artists that are literally just starting off, or maybe it doesn't matter what age they are, they're just thinking about it'd be cool to start some type of art, making music, drawing, or anything? Do you have any final words for artists alike when the up and coming is difficult and it feels grueling?
Yeah, first and foremost, you have to really enjoy and love what you do. If it's something that you want to do long term, even if it's not as a career, you have to love it. And a piece of advice that I could give and a recommendation is become a student of anything. If you want to become an MMA fighter, study the greats, be influenced by many different styles, and hone in and let it malleate your style too. Same thing that goes with painting, drawing, music, any art form or anything that requires a gruesome amount of dedication and work ethic. Become a student, study the greats, and allow the greatest to influence you.
I like that. Well, those are some good closing words. With that, I will say that I thank you so much for just joining in. I know that we are in a 3 hour time difference, so we have very different things going on at different times of the day. And so thank you so much for being able to make a little time for this. I hope it was of some worth for you, or at least it was enjoyable. And with that, everyone who's listening, thank you so much. This is Dev the Follower. I engineer for him, and will be for the foreseeable future. So you can catch all of his music on the links that I will share within the bios, and I also share videos with him and stuff as far as the ones that he puts out for audio, music, and everything like that. So I just try to help out with all that to get a little exposure there. So with that, check him out. I hope you guys enjoyed, and thank you so much. This is AIRsProductions. Peace.
Yeah, man. Always an honor and a privilege. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.